contracting is not possible for us. It is there in our blood. We have grown from that and we have strengths there. And real estate is an area which is challenging, giving you challenges and gives you opportunity to use your creativity. So that's another area where you don't want to live, because you don't want to be doing only building without any creative input into it. Because when you're doing contracting, it is as per the client's requirement. It's a build to suit facility. Whereas when you're doing development, you're creating benchmarks, you're creating landmarks, and that's how Paradise and things like that have come up. And you are also having opportunity to do things differently. Whereas in a contracting, you are very strictly follow the rules and guidelines set by the client. Like, let me give you an example. Paradise, take that example. Typically, as a builder, if this was a location where we got this land when it was not under corporation, and as we complete all our formalities of buying this land from about 250 farmers. So it took us about 1.5 years first to do this. By the time we finished it, then we realized now it's come under corporation. We had actually bought this land to do bungalow developments. So then greed is an inherent part of any human. I am no exception. So we said, okay, let's do high rise, and more challenging in terms of construction. So we planned for high rise. But something behind my mind was, I bought this for bungalow development, I should not be doing high rise. And luckily for me, market also turned bad as what it was. And it was pretty slow. Then I said, if I do a high rise, one building for me would cost me something like 50 crores. And if I don't get bookings, then I'm going to be forced to complete that building. And my resources was very important because we were not financial greats. So we said, no, let's not do this, let's do an in-between. And typically we ended up doing some bungalows, some twin houses, which is the first concept. And after doing all those designs, we found out, but in a 5-acre plot, we are not utilizing 50,000 square feet of FSI. So everyone, who was looking at it, there were one or two other people along with me in this project. I said, no way, how can you do this? You're not building 50,000 square feet. Then I sat down and analyzed and said, when I do this 50,000 square feet less, I'm targeting X type of people and my pricing is going to be 20% higher than an apartment, number one. Number two, I can plan my construction based on how I get my bookings. So if I don't get, I can stop, which was not possible in the first instance. And the way the design came out, it was a different story. We booked everything in the initial stage and we had completed the project in record time. In the end, if you really calculate the total built-up area of what you could have done and total built-up area, total amount which you had made and the profit calculated on the paper, it would have looked higher. But if I had not taken the time dimension. But when I took time dimension, I found that I could rotate that money much faster and I made more money actually, in a sense, in real terms, than what I would have done in completing a building. So this is something which is very few people will really understand or accept, but we can show you calculations to prove it.
The bungalows were more profitable.
More profit.
We thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I want to, sort of open it up for questions.
Vasu,
Yeah.
very late in life, I realized that real estate is real engineering and financial engineering.
Yeah.
At what point did you come to that realization, or did you start out knowing this?
No. I have not understood financial engineering even today. So yes, actually yes, that part came in when we became public, and basically coming from an engineering background, many of those principles is very difficult to accept to an engineer. Especially when you start getting listed and when you are expected in a industry is no way connected to a quarterly result program. To be gauged on a quarterly result program is a challenge by itself, and the pressures are different. So as a result, we find, as I said again, so the method of gauging a company needs to be completely different. Once what I was saying, I was going through an ET, first 500 companies listed, both in terms of market cap and both in terms of assets, and you find out of the first 50 or 100 companies which is got the highest market cap, their asset is like 1% of the market cap, and if you see most of them, none of them are engineering. So whether the old principles still stand today is a question. How it is valued, how it is being done, whether now we are in an era which has given this transformation. Like I said, I taking my company from a 1 lakh capital to 1,000 crore, I feel very proud in 30 years. But today, that's no big achievement.
So, Vasu, sorry, the question is that you started with a 25% stake in 3 other co-founders.
Yeah.
Vascon, obviously, Vas stands for Vasu.
Yeah, correct.
So obviously you have your brand there.
Yeah.
But over the last 30 years, where are these 75% owners of Vascon? How you dealt with them? What happened to them? They're always in the background. Are they still around? Have you kind of let them go? They're still around, they're helping you. How the journey of 4 co-founders, so to say, with one guy as a brand ambassador, kind of has traveled this distance for so long, and how is it working out now?
Interesting, very question. See, when we started off, the other 3 co-investors were, you can call in today's term, more of an angel investors, who were friends, who had their own businesses, who had no knowledge of engineering or construction, and they only knew Vasu. And they said, fine, here is a person whom we will be behind. And literally beyond putting that 75,000 rupees in the company, they may not have spent more than 70 minutes also in the company. But the way it was founded, the way it was done, that's how we were running. Over a period of time, what has happened is, I got diluted when HDFC came in, got diluted when IPO happened. So today what I did is, I went back and have bought back the shares from many of them, and also pumped in, we had a rights issue, and with pumping in money there, and with the other promoters not wanting to be part of the business because they were anyway not interested here and they were looking at an exit. So I increased my stake from about 19% to 40% plus. So today I am the biggest shareholder in the company, and I was running the company. It's the same, as I said. On paper it is the same, whether I was doing the same function before, I am doing the same function now. Only in a satisfying manner that I am 40% holder today than what I was before.
Hi Vasu.
Yeah.
My name is Atul Gopal, 10 years your junior from COEP, unfortunately not civil. Okay.
Fortunately.
Okay. See, I would want to draw a comparison between Vascon and Larsen and Toubro.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Larsen and Toubro as an older company. So one is both Mr. Larsen and Mr. Toubro are not associated.
Correct.
Although the company bears their name.
Yeah.
Correct. So that's one thing which I just want you to think about, because Vascon has your name in it.
Yeah.
But at some point of time, where do you see? Because we are all mortal.
Yeah.
Right. And the second is that the other similarity between L&T and you is that